Hello, everybody, it's me, Ross, and welcome back to another edition of the Kings of Anglia Fans Social, where town fans have their say on all things town. And oh, what a night it was at Portman Road under the lights. 6 goals, ladies and gentlemen. 6 goals are scored. A massive win against Doncaster. We have liftoff, and I'm joined by 6 fine gentlemen to talk about the win and look ahead to the week against Accrington Stanley. And well, I'm going to start off with a man making his debut in Kez. Kez, I am buzzing to have you on the show. I'm buzzing for the massive win. What's your opening thoughts on that great win on Tuesday night? And welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, mate. Thank you for having me on. Any excuse to talk to you. But no, yeah, obviously, really good win on Tuesday. Really great night under the lights at Portman Road. And yeah, 6-0. I think that's the least we deserved. I thought, I was really encouraged by the fact that at 3-0 the game was pretty much won. But yet we kept that hunger. You could still see that hunger, that desire to put in a real shift and keep attacking, which is not something that we are used to seeing. Often we'll sort of in recent years, shall we say, we've seen town sides perhaps go 2-0 up and then sit back and then end up conceding late on and then having to absorb a lot of pressure in the closing stages, or even go on to drop points. Was massively encouraged by that. But also, I think there's worse sides than us that are going to hammer Doncaster by the looks of Tuesday night. So I think that the result in isolation means very little other than to build confidence going into these games coming up. So yeah, what really matters now is how we push on from here.
And of course, Sam Morsey had an amazing debut. You had a fantastic debut on game day, and I'm sure you're going to have a great debut on the Kings of Anglia Fans Social. Of course, you're joined by Ben, Welsh Mark, Brad, Liam, and Mark Beck, the man who has just got a great double act with Mike at the moment. I'm looking forward to that every game day. But I'm going to go over to Ben next. Ben, welcome back to the show. You made a trip from Cambridge on Tuesday night, and a well-worth trip. Of course, Welsh Mark went all the way from Wales. We'll get to him later. But Ben, your opening thoughts on that 6-0 win?
Thanks for having me as always, Ross. I can't wait to hear more from Mark about his trip from Wales. That's some effort and well rewarded, weren't we all, for our travels, no matter how far or how near we came. Yeah, all delighted. Every town fan is living on cloud 9 or cloud 6, whichever you want to say it, up until 3 o'clock on Saturday anyway. Just delighted to see us perform that way. We were so in charge of the game. Doncaster weren't much cop, were they? But that's not. I think in times like these we have to enjoy, the fact that we've won 6-0. I haven't seen us score 6. I wasn't there for the Doncaster away game when Wickham got a hat trick. Bristol City game when Walters got a hat trick. I wasn't there either. So you have to go back. I think we beat Barnsley once in one of the around 2000. I was there for that when we scored 6 at home. David Johnson got a few. So it doesn't happen very often where you actually get to see your side score 6. Well, if you're Ipswich Town fan. Just the way that we controlled the game. Morsey was just absolutely bossed it. To have a player in your team who just bossed the midfield, I just love the way that he moved around the pitch, just shrugging people off like they were children. Sometimes it did look like men against boys. He picks the right pass. He plays it simple, but he does look to go forward as well. And I think the whole team just looked at that, swallowed it up, and he led by example, and everyone just went with him, really. I don't think we can over-exaggerate how much an effect he did have on the team. I sat in the upper north. I like to get the atmosphere from the lower north. Couldn't get in there, so I went to the upper. But you do get a really good view of the game there, and you just saw the way that he picks up those pockets of space in front of the back four, giving it to the full-backs. I thought Penny going forward. He had a bit of a dodgy first 10 minutes, but then superb going forward. But hardly any of the town players put a foot wrong all game. Just absolutely delighted to watch a game we controlled from start to finish. And just relax, enjoy some football. It's the most relaxing 90 minutes of football I've seen Ipswich play for absolutely ages, and I'm still just so happy, Ross.
We are all happy indeed. Of course, we're not getting too carried away, but how long has it been for us to actually enjoy a week, knowing our team have won massively at Portman Road? And Welsh Mark, you went all the way to Suffolk on a Tuesday night. Can you explain the idea of that and the trip itself? Welcome to the show and your opening thoughts on that massive win. And Well, it was worth the trip.
It was 250 miles from sunny Abergavenny to Ipswich. Took Tuesday afternoon off and drove up. Went to the game, drove back Wednesday morning, left at 7:15. So a 500-mile round trip over 2 days, and I'd do it again tomorrow for a performance like that because it was well worth it. It's been a while since I've been to Portman Road under the lights because it's a fairly long trip. I've seen some good games at Portman Road. I show my age now. I was there the night Alan Brazil scored 5 goals. I think I would have been 10 or 11. I was also there the day that we put 5 on Manchester United, and again I think I would have been about 7 or 8 at the time with my old man. So I've seen a few crackers, but I thoroughly enjoyed that. It was just a sheer bloody relief of actually playing football and looking like a cohesive attacking side. It was an absolute joy. I've got to say a big shout out to my uncle for putting me up for Bumble, who I met on Tuesday and bought me a delicious pint of 1981 at half time, which has topped it off beautifully. Town, I thought they played exceptionally well. I've got to put a caveat in. Doncaster were absolutely bloody awful. Let's be brutally honest. They had 1 shot in the second half. I don't think they got more than 2 crosses into the box. They never really caused us any problems. And I think they are going to get, as has been mentioned already, thrashed a few times this season. And they're going to really, really struggle because they're a very poor side. But take that away from Ipswich, you can only beat who you've got to play, and we beat them comfortably with, I think, a bit to spare. It could have been 7, it could have been 8, I think, to be brutally honest. But an exceptional performance, and Morsey was absolutely superb. Absolutely superb. I watched the West Ham game, and I thought, well, he's okay. But he was absolutely different gravy out there because his attitude, his work rate, and his bravery, not just in the tackle, but his bravery to accept the ball anywhere at any given time, whatever way he's facing, really stood out. And halfway through coming towards the end of the first half, I think we were 2-0 up, and he was giving Cameron Burgess a right bollocking for not pushing up, and he would not let it lie for about 2 minutes, and he kept going on and pointing and gesturing, you should have been here, you should have been here. And it went on and on and on. I thought he must be a right pain in the backside to play alongside because he won't give you a moment. But it's great for the team, and it's what we've been crying out for a long, long time. Somebody like that to boss the midfield and to shake a few people and to and to give some stick where necessary. Absolutely superb. I really enjoyed his performance, and having him there allowed Lee Evans to play. Sprayed some beautiful passes around. He looked a much more attack-minded central midfield player. Obviously, he scored a great hat-trick. At one point, I thought he might have scored a perfect hat-trick, but when I look back, the first goal was right foot, not left foot. Terrific, brought out the best in everybody. Solid at the back. Emerson and Burgess, very impressed with, had very little to do. The 2 fullbacks played well. Doncaster and Burns linked up well. Burns is electric. He's a flying Welsh wizard down there. His cross for the first goal was bang on, absolutely bang on. And as for Macaulay Bonne, well, what more do you want? I mean, he's a chantry lad. He works his socks off. There were times during the game where 2 defenders were grappling with him to sort of hold him back, but he kept going. He runs the channels. He holds the ball up well. He gets in the right place at the right time, and that second goal was absolutely spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. So all in all, I'm delighted. I'm absolutely buzzing, and I'm in the process now of booking me next tickets for the for the Fleetwood game at half term. So I'm bringing my son Joseph down. He's taking half a day off school. Don't tell anybody that. And we're coming down to watch the game with my father, so Joseph's granddad. So 3 generations of Town fans, and we'll all be there for that. And I hope another 6-0 would be nice.
That would be nice indeed. And Brad, do you think it made it more special because it was under the lights? It was the first time since basically pre-COVID that Town fans were at a proper Tuesday night game under the lights. We've had the Newport game and the pizza cup competition trophy, whatever it's called, but they didn't really count. But this was the proper league game. 18,000 plus were there. Fantastic atmosphere, thanks to North Stand and everything else. Kez part of that. I always catch him waving the flag about. We'll get onto that later. But Brad, your opening thoughts and welcome back to the show.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth, Ross. Just as I was walking down there from the Crown car park and just going through the streets, and when you see the floodlights and just the masses of people near burger vans just congregating, that you just thought there's a game of football tonight, and just that feeling of being back under the lights. It's my favourite. Well, that's about to say time of day, but yeah, I prefer night games because of the atmosphere the floodlights bring. And I mentioned on game day it's my dad's birthday. He was 66 goals, 0 conceded, 6-0. Lovely. He had a great day. As Mark has already alluded to, Doncaster were dreadful. In particular, Tom Anderson, their captain. He was a solid centre half under Darren Moore a couple of years ago. He just everything he did. I mean, he flipped the goal on for Evans to score his first. Bullied by Bon all night. Took one in the face from Wes Burns. If Andy Warren was rating him, he'd probably be close to a 2. But yeah, you got to talk about us, haven't you? It just got a relish for moment. And I know all you guys are saying, "Come on, let's kick on now. Let's look to Saturday." I just want to enjoy this moment because we're Ipswich Town fans, and you just kind of know that something's going to just at some point that'll be, oh, here we go again. So I just want to relish this moment and enjoy the 6-0 that I saw. I'll delve more into the detail a little bit later, but maybe we'll see another 6-0. You never know. Paul Courtney loves an 8-0 win, doesn't he, against all that time with Wigan. So goals are something you're going to see a lot of Port Road. And with Sammy Morsey there, well, I can't see us conceding anytime soon because that just looks so rock solid and strong. Him and Evans, Burgess and Edmondson didn't have a lot to do, did they? I mean, Morsey, just any ball that came into a striker's feet, Morsey was on it. It's just, he was incredible to watch, and just how good he was. I knew he was a good player. I've seen him play before, but I guess at that level, he is a different level, isn't he? But still buzzing, and I will be forever about this win because that really is a memory for me with Dad's birthday, and what a brilliant night.
Yeah, what a brilliant night. And over to you, Liam. We're going to keep this short and simple. What a night, because it was. Your opening thoughts on the win against Doncaster. Did you ever expect us to score that many goals at Portman Road? I know we've had some big results before, but this is just a massive one.
Well, I thought that we might have scored a few against Doncaster. I was confident of that. I didn't expect 6. And Mark's partner in crime, Mike, put up a very ambitious bet just before the game in the group chat, which I have to say I'm really annoyed now I didn't go for. I went for something slightly different and ended up falling short because there wasn't enough corners. So if I just stuck to the goals, I would have been quids in, as well as being absolutely delighted with the result. I'm absolutely delighted to be here after my last appearance, where probably by association, I was part of a crew that was slightly talked about a lot for being very negative. And yes, I never said anything about relegation in that. I was trying to be as positive as I could in that one, but a little bit difficult. So I'm delighted I'm here to be a lot more positive. And there was nothing wrong from Tuesday night. It was, you've got to put into context, Doncaster were absolutely terrible. And the fact that they pretty much only had 2 shots all night shows where they were. They didn't lay a glove on Town. And I think after the second goal, when Lee Evans scored, the game was over. I mean, even in the second half where they stabilised a bit and Town maybe went a little bit, there was a little period where if Doncaster had got a goal, might have all gone downhill again. But for me, they didn't look like they were going to score. And the back four, Blackie in goal, that they were all very, very solid. And then obviously, as soon as the third went in and the blitz began, it was just amazing to see. And as everyone has said about Sam Morsey, I was so excited on Tuesday night. I forgot to mention Sam Morsey in the game day interview, but he for me allowed that performance to happen. Just because you look at Lee Evans and he was managing to get a bit further forward, but he just gives you that solidity in midfield, that tenacity, bite, just a commanding presence, and he knows what he's doing in that position. And I don't think Evans is that sort of player, and obviously Harper definitely isn't. And I think that's one of the issues we've had in those opening games, and Morsey coming in just made that difference completely. And it's just a shame that we scored 6. We could have had a few more. Burns' shot was definitely going into the net. Had it not smashed the central defender's head. Although I'm glad he was okay, by the way, because it did look like a nasty blow. And then obviously the post near the end from Harper, which probably would have topped it off, really, because Harper been dropped, maybe fighting for a position now suddenly where there's a lot of competition. For him to get a goal would have just topped it off. But all in all, you really can't argue about anything all night. And as you said in the opening statements, hopefully now this is liftoff towards a good run, bit of momentum, and now Town will start hunting down the rest of the teams higher up the table.
Yeah, and as you said, the podcast we had a few weeks ago was very negative, but it is because we did lose 5-2 against Bolton, and it wasn't looking all rosy. But Town fans, football fans, we're fickle. It's part of football, isn't it? One week we're moaning, one week we're buzzing about the win. Mark, well, you've had to hear all the lads' thoughts. It's over to you. You have the floor. Your opening. Welcome back to the show, of course, and your thoughts on that massive win. And then we'll get on to talk about the goals, the moments. Lee Evans hasn't really been mentioned much so far. He scored a hat-trick. When was the last time? Was it Grant Ward last time we saw a Town player score a hat-trick on his debut as well? He came off the bench, and has anybody else scored a hat-trick
I think it might have been.
Yeah.
It's been very bleak times since. That seems like a lifetime ago, doesn't it? But no, some very good points from all the lads. I've got to try and not repeat anything that's already been said, but for me, I think that was a culmination of some of the really good play that we have seen this season. I think a lot of the time we've shot ourselves in the foot, but we've been playing some really good football in spells, whereas it hasn't quite come together as a performance, as a team. And I think, as the guys have alluded to, Sam Morsey was the catalyst for that. It looked like a completely different side. Going back again, rewinding to Sheffield Wednesday, I know there was a little bit of disappointment after that. I felt we should have won that game. Almost certainly we had enough chances to, and we're the better side in that game as well. And I said to a few guys that I go to with regularly, on another day, we win that game 3 or 4-1, and then lo and behold, the next game we go and smash 6. It was quite relieving to see that finally all came together. Say what you will about Doncaster, you can only beat what's put in front of you. That's a good old footballing cliche, isn't it? But no, I think now we can really start to see what this team is made of. Sometimes it does take that result, regardless of who the opposition is, just to get that confidence, not only within the team itself, but within the fans to come back. And I think what I've noticed as well is that the defence is very much sorted now. What I was really pleased with is that we didn't concede. A very interesting thing to do would be to take our foot off the gas and let that clean sheet slip away. We fought that to the end. There was a moment just towards the end, I think it was, where Harper let the ball run across him and Doncaster were through. But Edmondson and Burgess, who I'm a big fan of, and I hope they're going to be a partnership to remember going forward. They're hungry to keep clean sheet, and 6-0 in isolation is an absolutely fantastic result. But put them all together, we've beaten Lincoln, who are a very good side in this division. We've gone away from home and got our first win there, kept a clean sheet. Sheffield Wednesday, if teams have got to score goals like they did, like Sheffield Wednesday did, to beat, to get a result against us, then so be it. That's not going to happen every game in this division, let alone. And then to go and smash a team bottom of the league. And it's very rarely for that to happen. You think, if you go back in the past, we're playing Doncaster, we're both down the bottom. Doncaster have been absolutely abysmal. Along come Ipswich, and usually it's a 1-0 win for Doncaster. But for us to take them to the sword and absolutely slaughter them, it was very un-Ipswich. And some of the performances I'm sure we'll go on to. I think the key thing for me, and it has been mentioned, is Lee Evans. And I think having Morsey to come in and take that captaincy and taking the burden of that off him is really going to help Lee Evans going forward. I think certain players, especially with Lee Evans being one of the first new players through the door, I think he felt a lot of pressure and responsibility for this new regime to get off to a flying start. And maybe he suffered, but now he's got someone he can trust alongside him and take away that leadership burden from him. I think we're going to see sort of the shackles off him. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see more goals from him and certainly more assists. But no, picking a bad performance out of that, I mean, you can't. There wasn't one. There simply wasn't one. And I just hope that long may those performances continue.
I think the only negativity is there should have been more goals. We wanted more goals. Only 6. That's poor from the
Yeah.
lad. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. We can't have everything. Over to you then, Kez. I'll let you have the floor to move into the next segue of segments. Let's talk about the goals. 6 very good goals. Lee Evans' knee slide as well. Fantastic knee slide. I was very pleased that I captured that on camera, and talk about the crowd as well. You're part of the Blue Action Light. You're part of that section 6, always bringing the atmosphere. What was that like being in that section for the first time in a long while, with actually celebrating loads of goals? And what's to pick out the bunch for the goals for yourself?
Yeah, it was quality, mate. Absolutely quality. It's been sort of, so yeah. I've sort of started going with those lots ever since, the early League One days were under Lambert, and there were times when we were sort of right in that little tucked away in that little corner. And it was a real labour to kind of get any atmosphere going, especially when the football on the pitch wasn't great either. So and like Tuesday, it really felt like everything coming together in the stands as well as on the pitch. The atmosphere really did take off, and it, like we've been saying, like, since we sort of moved to that bit just a little bit sort of more central, we've been saying, like, it's such a better positioning for us to be, and there's been some really good spells where the atmosphere sort of reverberated around, but we've just been waiting on sort of the lads on the pitch to do us a favour and contribute towards that, because you can't have one without the other. And finally, that happened on Tuesday, and yeah, just being in amongst it, man, is just so good. In terms of the goals that we scored, like I can't remember if ever I've seen a crossbarring in from Lee Evans, from any Town player. But yeah, that Lee Evans goal that went off, like, just clipped the underside of the bar and then went in, was possibly my personal favourite. But I think going back to being in amongst that melee, you sometimes, like, because everything's happening so quickly and your attention is so frantic and everything, I don't always get the opportunity to actually sort of capture these moments as they are. And I had to look back on those highlights, and I do not remember registering how good Macaulay Bond's second goal was. Like, when he chested it down and just volleys it on the half turn, that was absolutely sublime. So I think that, but yeah, those two, but I think they were all really well worked goals. And I think Selena, who I didn't think had, out of everyone, I didn't think had the best game, but for him to pop up with those 2 assists in the second half just shows the quality of a player that he is, that he can still make a meaningful contribution without perhaps the full performance being there. But yeah, no, there was some real great, and just seeing Wes Burns, like, for that first goal, just like, I absolutely love Wes Burns. I think he's so consistent, and you just know exactly what you're going to get from him, and just seeing him sort of burn down that right hand side and stick a really nice low ball in for the first goal, just for Macaulay Bond to tap home. So yeah, those 3 were probably my favourite out of the series.
Yeah, out of 6, definitely. And Ben, I'm going to go over to you now. It was a statement win we've been looking for. We have liftoff. We're not getting too carried away, but just, I'm just buzzing right now. I'm just buzzing, just hearing all of you guys got smiles on your faces. That's what I was enjoying on game day as well. Everyone just so happy and all hugging, fist pumping, and just all that sort of stuff. Do you think we have liftoff now? And what's the other key points from the game for yourself?
I was sort of quite reflective, particularly on the journey home on the sodden A14, which was quite tricky actually to get back to Cambridgeshire. Glad we got back in one piece and drive. But sort of reflecting, particularly when I first used to come on this podcast, under those drab days during lockdown, watching Lambert on the crappy iFollow, losing away to, well, anybody at that point. And you just think how far we've come. I thought that after the Wimbledon game that I went to see when we drew 2-2, the quality of football is streets ahead of what we've had for a number of years. And that, obviously we were rewarded with the 6-0 win, but this is why, when you're saying about lift-off, Ross, that's why I think there's been a bubbling feeling that a result like this was coming, because fans aren't stupid. They can see the quality of football is so much better under Cook. Brad alluded to it. He said, we're going to see goals this year. It's exciting to watch Paul Cook's sides. And we haven't had a team like that for so long. It was fantastic. I didn't mention when you came to me first, and I should have done that. I had a colleague come from work with me, and his son, he's Colombian, the dad, and Thomas was born in England. They're actually Arsenal fans, but I said, come and watch Ipswich. We're actually half decent to watch these days. And they kept looking at me. Every goal goes in. They're like, I was like, it's not normally like this, honestly. Don't get used to this. If anything, don't come again, because it will never be better than this. But it was that feeling around the ground. Everybody's looking around, just people smiling, kids jumping up and down. It was that whole sort of euphoric, collective euphoric feeling that we all had. Yes, we could get a slap around the face and come back down to earth on Saturday against Accrington. But personally, I'll be shocked. I don't think we will. I think that this team is different to what we've had in the past. So I think that we can build on this, hopefully go on a really good run now. I don't think we should fear anyone in the division. There's no one we can't beat with the squad we've got. Let's have that feeling again. Let's have that we're Ipswich Town. We are a big club at League One, but we've got the squad to show it now. We've got the infrastructure improving all the time. I think, we should be bullish about it. I think Town fans should be ultra positive. Let's put those times in the dark, those doldrums in the past, and move on now. We're blast. Go forward. We've got lift off for us.
Oh, that's what I wanted to hear. Welsh Mark, well, let's enjoy this, I say. What's other takeaways from the game? And I'm going to try to let you all segue into each other. So, Mark, you segue into Brad, Liam, and then other Mark. And I'll let you take the floor. It's your time to enjoy this moment. Add the positivity, because next week we could be moaning about a defeat. I've just jinxed it now. I'm sorry, guys.
No defeats now. Positivity. The defense looks solid. It's like a settled defense. I mean, Janasian has really come into his own. He looks very accomplished at right back, and I like his relationship with Burns. And he's solid. And he's sensible, and I think he's great. The two centre halves look great, and I was very impressed with Penny as well. Somebody said he had a dodgy first 10 minutes. He miscontrolled a pass, and a couple of the crowd gave him a bit of stick around us, and I thought, oh, that doesn't look good. But after that, he after a terrific game, played really well. So I think the defence is looking a lot more solid. Having Morsey in front makes a massive difference, but they don't look like they're going to concede goals easily, because in the past, I think that that's a criticism that we've levelled at Town. The other thing to take away is strengthening depth. We've got Edwards to come back on the left wing. We've got Piggott, wasn't even on the bench, for crying out loud. He wasn't even on the bench. How many teams in League One are going to have that kind of strengthening depth to last them through the season? It's incredible, really. We are so lucky to have the kind of squad that we've got now. And somebody said to me in the bar at halftime, I said, I can't believe it. We sold Giselle and we got Morsey. How lucky were we? I thought, well, we weren't lucky. That was just good business, because, Morsey was the type of player that we'd always wanted Giselle to be, really, wasn't he? Kind of, controlling a game, dictating a game, and and doing all that, and he never managed to do. I don't think he still managed to do it for QPR yet. But really positive. Defence is sorted. We've got great strength and depth. The atmosphere was amazing, absolutely buzzing. People coming out and chatting. And I went home and watched the goals and talked to my uncle till about 1 a.m. And it's just fantastic. And I've been buzzing all week. I'm knackered, but I'm buzzing. And that's how it should be.
Yeah, because like you say there, Mark, the defence feels sorted now, doesn't it? The Bolton game was the wake-up call. It was fullbacks, don't go on every single time. Just sit a little bit. Let the front six play. You guys just stay in your positions a little bit more and just stay a bit more solid. And I think we've just got the recipe for success now, because Morsey, I think, is going to be probably the most important player of our season. I know it's going off one game, but I thought I might be saying that was Bond, but the difference he made to our team was unbelievable. Unbelievable, to every single player around him, to Lee Evans around him, to the centre halves, just looked so much more confident, and just the intensity that we played at. Like, it was a 6-0, but that was a like you see scoreline sometimes. They can not really tell the whole story, but my God, did that 6-0. That really did. Every time Doncaster would try and get the ball, they were just on them like a rash, like that sort of fitness that we were promised from Cook. We just looked far fitter, we looked far stronger, better footballers, better patterns of play. Just everything just came together. And yeah, I think we have lift off now. You look at our next three. You've got Accrington away, who are coming off a 5-1 defeat against Oxford. Shrewsbury at home, which might get called off with international break, but not going great guns. And then you've got Cambridge away. That's three to really try and look at getting 9 points from. I know Cambridge, that's going to be a cup final for them. They're all going to be cup finals because everyone who plays us, it's going to be a cup final. That's the only thing now. We've got to turn up every single time. Not going to win 6-0 every time, but with Morsey leading and just like you said, Mark, the way he was on a Burgess, you just feel like he is setting the standards now, and the standards will not slip. So I like to think this lift off. Look how strong that lineup was the other night as well. I looked at my phone and I thought, bloody hell. Like, that front six, I'm not kidding, is probably stronger than, apart from maybe playoff season, than what we had in the Championship under Mick. You got Morsey and Evans, who I think, okay, Bishop and Stews. I'd rather have Morsey and Evans, to be honest. You got you got your wingers, Selena, Bon. I know it's not Darryl Murphy, but still, I mean, that was just so strong for that lead. Ridiculously strong. And then the bench to bring on quality. We just bring quality off the bench. Even Aluko has just been looking like a little bit of good business, hasn't he, to see out games. And yeah, well, it's all hopefully now coming together. So hopefully we have this off. That's all I'll say.
Okay, and Liam, I'm going to jump in there. I think the main thing is we got another clean sheet. I'm probably now going to maybe nick Mark Beck's thunder here because I know he's probably going to mention the goalkeeper. I'm sorry. But clean sheets is a massive thing, I think, at this level. You need to keep them clean sheets. And, you know, one of the guys said earlier, like, if we did concede one, it's sort of like Town went off the pedal, really. But luckily, we kept that going. We kept the clean sheet. Is that another positive from you?
Oh, yeah. But I mean, I think this is all built on the back of Lincoln. You look at the shift change from that Bolton game, and I think Cook realised that without Morsey especially, who would give you that extra solidity in midfield, I think he saw that we were slightly error prone in the middle of the field, and with the fullbacks bombing on, it was too big of a risk at the time. And that Lincoln game where you saw Doncaster get no further forward than the halfway line, and you've got Coulson on the other side who was pushing further forward, but never really overlapped. He still stayed behind the winger, which was Fraser on that side. It was just so much more solid, and I think that's translated since. And as Mark said earlier about the Sheffield Wednesday game, I mean, we should have won that game. I mean, you can't criticise Bon for what he's done, but I mean, he scored an absolute sublime goal against, I think it was MK Dons, and scored an absolute sublime goal on Tuesday night. And yeah, he's missed something that he probably would have buried 9 times out of 10 in that 3rd minute against Wednesday, which would have changed the game completely. But the fact of the matter is we didn't lose it. And Sheffield Wednesday's goal, which was one of only very, very few chances that they had, was just a really well executed strike. Otherwise, they wouldn't have scored all day. And Bond's shithousery at the end could have ended up in being 3 points, which it probably deserved to be. But that's the massive difference now. And then we've gone and scalped Doncaster. I mean, the biggest takeaway for me, and look, we all love our football and we all want to go and watch football on a Saturday. But the takeaway for me is that optimism now of the future, of these games coming up, that I'm excited about going to these games. I'm looking forward to them. I can't wait now for a Saturday to come along for these games, just because now it looks like we're going to see a show every time. Now, I'm not suggesting they're going to score 6 every time, but I just feel there's a lot more consistency there now. But I feel that the football that we saw in the first month of the season, which was in fits and starts is now a lot more over the whole game rather than little brief periods here. And of course, other teams are going to have moments in a game. It's going to happen. But I just feel we're just seeing now the kind of the tip of the iceberg here of what Town can really do in this league and how much damage they can cause to other teams. And I mean, I'll probably reiterate this when we talk about Accrington, but not a happy hunting ground. But I'm going into that game on Saturday thinking we should probably win that fairly comfortably. I think the biggest issue that we've had in the past against teams like Accrington is that the centre of the team is just too soft. Whereas now with Morsey, who is just a complete ball breaker, for me, he reminds me of Gattuso at AC Milan, someone who he was everywhere, and he broke up play and was just a machine. And the two centre backs now, I think, can mix it with any striker in this division, whether they're physical or not. I think these two centre halves we've got now can really dominate some of these physical strikers who, in the past, would have turned Town defenders to jelly. So I honestly think that something like Accrington on Saturday with Colby Bishop, I don't see it. He will be a threat, but I don't see him being as threatening as he has been in the past. And that, for me, is the exciting thing, because I just think it's all starting to come together now. And as Brad said, the next few games, Accrington, Shrewsbury, if it goes ahead, and Cambridge, we should be winning. And then even after that, Fleetwood at home, and I think Pompey in the midweek. Pompey have had a terrible start to the season. They're not looking particularly clever at the moment. Suddenly I'm thinking, well, that game at Fratton Park, why not? We should be looking at winning that game fairly comfortably the way things are going. So I think it could be a really, really exciting October.
Yeah, very exciting and long trips expected as well. Mark, let's finish off this positivity. Of course, hopefully we'll be talking about this for the rest of the season. But any other takeaways from the game, and then we'll move on to Accrington and also bring you the strike, as it's now a Fan Social regular feature. But yeah, any other takeaways from the game?
I think it's something that's probably gone a little bit unnoticed, really. But did Paul Cook clap us at the end? Not like this is not me moaning that he didn't. I don't think he did, and I think
I can't remember.
Paul Cook is.
Was he at the south stand waiting for the players to walk in? I think that's what he was doing.
I think he was, but even the players didn't lap it up like as much as I'd expect them to. And you think over the last 2 seasons under Lambert, we went to bloody MK Dons, and I thought Lambert was going to put his shoulder out when we were celebrating a 1-0 win, and we got battered in the second half by MK Dons. And I think that's quite telling to see where we are as a team. Yeah, we've won 6-0. It was against Doncaster, but there's a long way to go, and I think Paul Cook knows that. And this is just the start of the run. We're not going to get carried away at this stage. He knows that we've got to keep this form going, and I think he's going to keep his players very grounded. I don't know if he was a little bit distracted by getting one up on the old reporter after the game, but no, I think it's really telling that we're still very grounded despite such a big win. I know the fans are absolutely, as Brad's going to be celebrating until Christmas, I think, but we're, everyone at the club seems very grounded. I think, as we've alluded to, we've now got a real opportunity that this could be the start of the run that we get into. And I'm looking further ahead than the Portsmouth game. Call me foolish, but I'm looking at the Sunderland game in November. And if we can get this string of wins going, we've got to take it each game at a time. As the old managing cliche goes, we've got to take each game at face value and get the job done, which I think we're going to do better than we ever have done. I think we seem to respect and disrespect teams in the same way. We're not there just because we're Ipswich and we're bigger. I remember Flynn Downs talking about it when we went to Wimbledon and saying we should win these sorts of games. There's no should just because you're Ipswich Town and AFC Wimbledon have come back up through the ranks. You've got to earn it, and they wanted it more than we did. And I think that's what we're going to go with from now on. But looking at that Sunderland game in November, if we can string a good run of results together, and we can get within 6 points of Sunderland, that game could be huge. Like, we could shape our season in that one game, because we could bring them right into our hands, and that could really put a seed of doubt into there. Because we've got to go and play; they've got to come back to us only a month later. So maybe I'm being a little bit foolish and getting ahead of ourselves. That might all change next week after we go to Accrington. But no, I think we've got to be. I think we're very reserved at the minute. We're not getting too carried away. And yeah, let's hope and pray that this is the start of something. I'll go to Brad. Brad's got his finger up. I'll let him go.
Yeah, I just want a special mention for Scott Fraser, bit of an unsung hero, because I thought he was excellent the other night, and he has been lately, where he goes a bit unnoticed because he hasn't got the flashiness of other players, but he moves the ball quickly. He's just his movement across the pitch. He linked really well with Selena the other night. He's just a really good footballer, isn't he? And he has at least 2 or 3 moments a game where we almost score from. Like, he'll put a fantastic ball in the box, or he'll pick someone out. He's a real quality player. I have no problem with him being on the left wing. I know Kyle Edwards is coming back. I quite like the thought of Kyle Edwards coming on in the 60th minute against Tyra and fullbacks more than anything, I think. But yeah, special mention for Fraser, and obviously is the other side, Burns, who he reminds me of, like, I don't know, just like Forrest Gump, like 3 months into his run. He looks like him, doesn't he? Like, he just looks like, and he walks around like he's knackered all the time. But then he gets the ball and he's gone. It's just, he's not necessarily the best player. He's a bit of a one-trick pony, if we're all honest. He gets the ball and runs, but you hear, like Andy was saying, you hear the 6th clatter when he gets it, because you know he's just going to go, and it just brings a real energy and just some of the personalities there. Like I say, I like Wes Burns, his sort of personality, his little handshake with Nassi at the end. I like Morsey with the fact that he's just an absolute bastard. I reckon that every player there hates him. I reckon that I reckon he's constantly on at him in training, isn't he? I reckon he's just constantly at him. And even Lee Evans just said he's hard work at times. I bet he is. But I like a few of the personalities that come together there, as well as Bob, because obviously it just lives the club through and through. So not only are we looking at a good team, but I'm feeling like this is a team I'm going to fall in love with.
Brilliant. And Liam, I saw you got a hand up. End it there, and then we'll get on to looking ahead against Accrington. Of course, they lost 5-1. A long trip on a Tuesday night to Oxford, so they'll be a wounded animal. They'll be wanting to get a better result, but then they lost 4-1 against Wigan at home. So they've had not great results recently. But Liam, over to you.
I just wanted to reiterate what Mark said about Cook being quite grounded. The thing that struck me most was at the Lincoln game, where the fans were trying to get Cook to turn around and kind of applaud the fans. And he kind of turned to us all and just told us to calm down a bit. The game isn't over yet. We've got to get it over the line. And even then, at the end of the game, obviously it was Mark Ashton's moment to run onto the pitch like a crazy supporter. Cook kind of just walked away and went quietly down the tunnel. So I think he is going to be like that all season. I think he will be grounded and fairly conservative in how he reacts to results. I don't think you're going to see a huge amount of emotion compared to, say, someone like Lambert, who at every point when someone was saying give us a wave, he would be always giving the fans a wave or getting everyone to go up. And I think that's setting the standards that I think Cook wants everyone's minds on the game, and making sure that we bring it home even after such a massive win on Tuesday. He probably is just more relieved than anything to have actually got that first home win, which I'm delighted for him.
Definitely. No more hand-holding and doing that stupid thing they used to do with Paul Lambert. That was just ridiculous. You know, it's fine when it happened once and twice, but yeah, we don't want that anymore. Well, let's get into the strike, have a little break, and then we'll look ahead to Accrington. I'm sure no one's going to change the team, because it would be silly to change a team who just won 6-0, but I'll wait and see what the guys want to do. So we're going to hit the jingle, and then we're going to get into the strike. Who's going to win it this week? Last week, Dan won it. So let's see if we're going to have a new strike champion this week. So let's get the jingle. Boom. All right, we're back. And, well, we have 5 questions. We have a tiebreaker if needed. Kez, I'm sure you probably know what a strike is. This week it's on Accrington Stanley because we're playing Accrington.
Who are they?
Who are they? Mark has an idea for a different strike, but we'll get into that one day, mate. We'll get to that soon. But for the time being, we have Accrington Stanley questions. And as you know, we've got connections with Accrington. You know, we've got Cameron Burgess, Caden Jackson, Janoy Donation, Gary Roberts, Paul Cook actually played for Accrington and managed Accrington. So let's get into question 1, though. Let me get my answers up. As you know, normally I am terrible with getting the answers right, which is not good for the quiz host. First question is on Cameron Burgess. Of course, he signed for us this summer from Stanley. But how many clean sheets was he involved in during his time at... Oh, bring it back up. During his time in 52 games for Stanley. Of course, play at home if you want. I'll repeat that question again for the audio because I actually butchered that questioning. So how many clean sheets was Cameron Burgess involved during his 52 games for Stanley? That's probably grammarly. That doesn't sound great. So once again, closest to the correct answer gets the point. So how many clean sheets in 52 games do you reckon? So yeah, put your answers up. 15, 14, 14. Let's see again. If you 18, 14, 12. Now, one person is bang on.
15,
and that is 15.
Oh,
So you got that again? Is that Brad?
Brad, wasn't it?
Yeah, Brad. Brad gets the point. If you want, show me your answer, but also tell me your answer because I know it's a bit of an awkward thing. For audio, we're like, of course, we see each other, but on audio, people are thinking, "What's going on, Ross?" Just this sounds like shambolic. Normally it is, but just maybe shout out if I can't see it. Question 2 is on KJ, Caden Jackson, of course, signed for us and still here. Question 2: how many goals did he score for Accrington in 50 games? Now, why did Paul Hurst sign him? Was he because he scored loads of goals, or is he just because he's quick? Caden Jackson, how many goals did he score in 50 games for Accrington Stanley? Once again, closest to the correct point. Correct answer gets the point. Brad winning 1-0.
I'm going to have to say mine because my pen's run out.
Well, okay,
21,
24.
24.
24.
Oh,
I'm 16.
16.
I'm
I've
going to
just
say
said
19.
I've said he's absolutely crap. I've said 8.
Are you going for Mark?
8.
Just tell us. Just tell us.
18.
18. Well, one person is dead on again. This time it is 16.
Oh,
Ben, wasn't it?
I was going to write
I went-
16, but I knew he
I
scored
went
16
far
in
off.
one season. And I thought he must have scored more than in his other seasons.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
You've seen
16,
Caden
so-
Jackson play, haven't you? He can't be that. He's not that good.
No. 16, and of course in League Two for Accrington.
Yeah, it was. wasn't it?
So Ben has got 1, Brad's got 1. Question 3 is on good old JD. Just fantastic. He's been fantastic recently, which is great. He's been fantastic since he signed for us, really. He just hasn't been given a chance. He just made a bad tee for Paul Lambert, weren't he? But yeah, question 3 is, what was the fee Town paid for Janoy Donation for Accrington? So there's 3 options. There is 3 options. Don't worry.
don't need him.
Don't need him. I'll give you him anyway. I'll give you him anyway.
Yeah, give him this.
700k, 750k, or 800k.
Oh, I
course.
thought you were going to be a little bit more generous
No.
than that. Oh, well, I've gone for.
I'm going to say
750.
750.
750.
750.
700.
Okay. What are you going for, Mark?
700.
It's 750.
Oh,
Wee.
bollocks.
So Ben, Brad,
What the
Stu,
mark?
Liam gets his first point, and Kez gets his first point.
That's because I slag him off all the time. That's why I get. I was never going to get that right.
Missed out with 50k. Missed out. Of course, it was a weird situation with him because, of course, he got loaned back to Accrington, and then he had work permits issues and all that sort of stuff. But now he's here.
He's-
He's playing regularly, which is good. Right,
He's
question
good at what
4
he
is
does.
he does. Yeah, he does indeed. Question 4 is on Gary Roberts, Robbo. Of course, the new course coaching staff here. He joined town from Accrington in 2006, but how many games did he play for both in 5 seasons combined? So that makes sense.
Oh
How many
my
games did he play?
God!
What?
5 seasons of football. 5 seasons of football.
5 seasons
Ross,
football.
why is this?
So,
Why is it turned into only connect for a second? That's usually really simple.
110.
110.
Joined
Okay.
from Accrington
Bloody
in
hell, all right, Brad,
2006.
jumping straight
Yeah,
in
he
there.
joined us. He joined us for town.
No,
yeah,
well-
Accrington.
He was basically retired at Accrington, weren't he? And
Well, no. He joined town from Accrington in 2006.
oh, for God's can't change.
You
What
can.
before? 5 seasons before or after?
So he joined town.
5 seasons combined, Mark. Some for
He played
Accrington,
for
some
Five
Accrington.
for
seasons
For who?
combined.
for,
For
So
us,
he
for
played
them.
5 seasons for both Accrington and
Both.
Town.
for both teams.
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both
Did
teams.
he?
So he had. Yeah.
How many
Was it for
combined
5
appearances?
seasons?
He had 2 seasons with us. He had 3 seasons at Accrington because he joined us from Accrington in 2006. So he had 2002. He joined Accrington.
Even
he
the
played
dog
there.
is like, what is going on?
But we're not including his retirement at Accrington.
You can if you want, but I don't think you actually played a game for them. I don't think you actually played. Oh, this is a
Wait,
stupid
I'm
question. I
changing
hope I didn't do this question now. I'm
Cancel.
sorry for people at home. They're
One-
confused as well.
85.
187.
187.
187.
78.
150.
28.
158.
I think he played
150.
94 games.
24.
158. It's just numbers now, isn't it?
150.
He was quite. I remember him being sort of injured quite a lot with us, so I don't
Yeah.
think that he made 100 games. So yeah,
He did make 100 games. It's
Ah.
128. So
Oh,
who
wow.
got closest?
It's not the closest there. Come on,
That's
Ross.
probably his Kez. It's
I don't
Kez,
know.
I think.
What,
Probably
94?
I said 150.
I went
150.
158, so I was 30 out exactly. Is that all right?
150.
So it's
We did a
Liz.
maths out here. It's probably
I
it's
think
Liam.
this is the worst question you've ever done, Ross.
Yeah, it's not a good question. For people at home, the question is: Gary Roberts joined town for Accrington in 2006, but how many games did he play for both in 5 seasons combined? I think we should move on. I think Liam got the
I
point.
thought it was fine.
Yeah, thanks, Ben.
Stuck with
Okay.
110.
I've had a long
right.
day.
Yeah, let's end at question 5. We have got a tiebreaker if needed. Liam is currently in the lead. Now, Paul Cook
What?
was a manager at.
No,
How's
it's
he in the
2.
lead?
I'm only on 2.
Oh, who's winning then?
There's 3 of us on 2.
Well, Brad's
Oh.
on 2.
Oh, bugger. I don't know. Anyway, okay, this is the winning question then. But if you don't get it right, we've got a tiebreaker. But yeah, Paul Cook was a manager at Accrington, but how many wins did he secure as manager in 33 games? Didn't manage many games for them. I think he left them to go to Chesterfield, and of course, that's where he had his first proper success. But 33
I'm
games,
gonna say 11.
how many wins?
11.
10,
11 for me.
19.
19.
He weren't very good.
I've
though.
got 14, Ross. 14.
14.
I think he won 12 games.
12 games. The correct answer is 8 games.
Cool.
Wow.
8 games.
Bloody
Brad clinches it.
Brad's
he gets
got
to
it
win
on
8
10.
games. Yeah, not a great record. Let me get his full record out. We have got a tiebreaker. We're going to use it anyway because it's got to be used because I've found the stats for it and all that. But yeah, so it was 8 wins, 7 draws, and 18 defeats. His win ratio is 24.2. So that's not great at Accrington. Yeah, not great. But yeah, tiebreaker is the standards. What is the capacity of the Wham Stadium? So if someone gets it dead on,
Oh, God.
I think it's 6,432.
bloody hell.
I think it's 6,548.
Okay.
7,481.
Okay.
8,109.
I'm gonna price us right, Liam. 6,473. Yeah.
5,600.
5,600. Wow. It is 5,450. So, Welsh Mark got it right.
Oh,
got closest.
That's the only question I got right, though.
There we go. Well, that was a shambles as ever. I'm sure that was for audio. That was probably very hectic, and I'm sorry if anybody crashed while they are driving while listening to that. But that was the strike. I think we should end it there. We should bring in Elkin Baggett to outro it. So over to you, Elkin. Cheers, bro. Thank you, Elkin. Of course, he is a superstar in the making. He's got more followers on Instagram than the club. So that's good for the Kings of Anglia brand. And as we're here, of course, the podcast is sponsored by manscaped.com. Use the code KOA at manscaped.com for free delivery and 20% off. So there we go. And also, I don't know if anyone else has seen it yet, the new Warsy Never Lost at Home show on the 1981 team, which I'm hearing good things about. Anybody here, have you watched it yet?
Yeah, I've seen it, mate.
Yeah, what do you think of it?
Quality. Yeah, really good. But just the Suffolk accents upset me a bit. They're way off. They are way off. But you know.
Here, right, boy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no. So unfortunately, they're way off with that. Other than that, it's a really nice, fun watch. It was enjoyable.
Definitely. Get your tickets now. It's still, I think it's there until the 8th of October. I probably got that wrong, but support them. They're supporting us with the sponsorship. So brilliant. Just ignore the Suffolk accents if they're bad then. But I'm sure it's going to be a great night all over.
That is compensated by the fact that Peter Peverley as Sir Bobby is absolutely bang on like that. Honestly, unreal.
Yeah, I'm hearing good things about that. Well, let's now segue and bring you back in, Kez. Let's talk about Accrington. Well, the team picks itself. Why would you change it? And what do you reckon going up to Accrington? A long way to go. Not a great hunting ground. But then last time we played and we won 2-1. Paul Cook wasn't in charge, though. Matt Gill was in charge. Paul Cook was shouting his orders still and he was there having a cup of tea. But what do you reckon, Accrington? Think we can get that win again?
I think we can. I don't think it's not going to be handed to us by any means. I think, like as you alluded to, they took a heavy loss in midweek from Oxford, and I think they're probably a decent enough side to respond to that. And I think that their mentality is there in terms of John Coleman, the manager, and I think that they will respond to that, and we should be expecting a little bit of a backlash from that. But I think we've got some real, we proved the other night that we're a proper side. At the end of the day, we've got some really decent football players, and we can play as a cohesive unit. And I think that. Yeah, expecting a response, but I think we can get it done. I think we'll win, but I think it'll be close. I think it'll be a hard-fought 2-1 victory.
I'll take that. I'll take that away from home. Ben, you've got your dog in hand. What is the name of the dog? I don't know if it's a he or she, so that's why I said
it's Winnie. Winnie, mate.
Okay,
yeah,
cool. What's she saying?
Yeah, she thinks it's going to be 4-0, actually. Ooh. Yeah, she's very impressed with Morsey. I told her all about him when I came home. Said he was like a tank in the middle of midfield, but not like a slow tank, like one of those ones that Batman has in those new Batman films, rolling around Gotham City doing what he pleases. That's what's going to happen at the Wham Stadium, by the way. Yeah, I'm really confident. I'm not going overboard. I think it will be obviously a much tighter game. They're going to have had a look at Tuesday night and seen us run over Doncaster, and obviously having the performance they had, losing to getting battered by Oxford and the defeat to Wigan. I'd be amazed if he sort of didn't get a bit restricted, maybe change his formation, just to try and nullify us really in terms of the talent that we've got going forward. A little shout out, but like Brad said, Scott Fraser again, he hasn't had enough credit. I don't think he barely gives away the ball. My dad said on Tuesday night, just it's fantastic having a player that just doesn't lose the ball whenever going forward. Like he looks for the right pass, and someone like that is going to be vital, I think, at the weekend. You know, to unlock their defence if they sit deep and just let us and then try and play on the counter. That could quite possibly happen with Colby Bishop holding it up. up top and getting players around him. So I think we're going to have to be patient. But I still think we could nick it quite comfortably in the end. Maybe the second half, nick a couple of goals, like a 2-0 win, keep it solid at the back. And why shouldn't we be confident? We've had 3 really good performances: Lincoln, Sheffield Wednesday, and then Doncaster Tuesday. So looking forward to following it as best I can on Saturday afternoon. I know some of the KOA posse are making it up there. Good luck to them. Hope it doesn't rain under the no cover. But yeah, Ross, really confident. Let's go for 2-0. 2-0 Town.
2-0 Town. I'll take that. I love that indeed. Over to you, Welsh Mark. What do you reckon? How are you feeling going into this game? As I said, it's not been a great hunting ground, but sometimes you've got to ignore those stats. We're a new team. A lot of these players have never played at Accrington as a whole team. Of course, Cameron Burgess will know that team very well because he signed us from there. But what do you reckon we can expect from this game?
I expect it's going to be tight. It's probably going to be a fairly unpleasant game of football. I don't think Accrington will want us to play football like we can. I think it's going to be it's probably a messy, bitty game. They'll try and break our rhythm where they can. But I do feel that with the players that we've got and with the solid defence that we are developing and with Morsey in midfield, I really don't think we should fear this. I think we should go in and provided we put in the yards and we work our socks off, and we give all that we've got. I think we can come away with a 2-0 or a 2-1, and I'm not going to be too worried. I mean, it is Accrington Stanley after all. If we work as hard as we can and play to the best of our ability, I fancy that we'll get another win, and this momentum will keep going. And on the subject of Scott Fraser, I bumped into my son was training with the Cheltenham Town development squad yesterday, and there was a bloke there with an Ipswich Town top on. So I went and said, "Hello, who are you?" And he said, he introduced myself. He was one of the coaches. He said, "I'm an Ipswich Town fan." And funnily enough, he was at the game on Tuesday night. He drove all the way up from Hereford to watch the game. And he said he was really impressed with Scott Fraser. And he said he's a Rolls Royce of a player. And he is a bit like that, isn't he? He's a very refined left-footed, midfielder who doesn't give the ball away very much. Not a great deal of pace, but he certainly adds something to that side. I think as the season develops, hopefully we'll see more of him. But yeah, I think we're going to win because I think we're on a roll now, and I think we should be confident and go into it. Don't change the team. Stick as we are. We've got plenty of subs if things go wrong, if we have to make changes. And I'm confident that we can grind out a 2-0 or a 2-1. Yeah, confidence, lovely. I'm
going to have to get you to choose what prediction you're going to go for, though. I'm sorry to say, I'm going to be that annoying person. So 2-1 or 2-0, what are you going for?
2-0.
Ooh, another 2-0, another clean sheet. Brad, over to you. I know you normally have the insight knowledge on Accrington. I know Ross Sykes is suspended. Colby Bishop, who likes scoring against us, but Dion Charles is out in the wilderness at the moment. What can we expect from Accrington, and what's your prediction?
Well, Accrington will, if John Coleman can get them going and get them to completely forget about the 5-1 defeat, then you'll see an Accrington which will probably start like a train, which they did against us last season. And we actually won that game 2-1. So happy hunting ground, before then maybe, but we did win there. They're a combative side, aren't they? I really like the captain, Keneally. He got sent off last year. But yeah, they normally play 5 at the back, don't they? So I kind of expect them to, regardless of what Coleman said in his interview today, I think they're going to shit their pants, to be honest. I think that their players will sit deep. And I think we're just going to go into this game with all that momentum for 6-0 and win it quite comfortably. 2-0 for me. I think I can't see us conceding just because, the ball might go into Colby Bishop, but I know that Sam Morsey will be at his heels. He'll be taking it off him. I'm most confident I've been in the game for a long time. The other night was a perfect storm with Doncaster coming, and I think we've got another one Saturday. So, 2-0.
Oh, clean sheets all around at the moment. Liam, over to you. We're making the long trip. We've got a nice little trip to Donny on Friday to good old John Watson's pad. And then he's taken us all the way to Accrington. The terraces, hopefully the weather's not going to be terrible because I do fear you guys are going to get... I'm going to get wet as well because I've got no cover either. But what do you reckon then this Saturday, my friend? Are you going with another clean sheet? I'm sure we're not going to change anything, are we?
No. And before Ben started this little train of 2-0s, I was going to say 2-0. And I'm going to stick with 2-0 because I think that in the past, the sort of games that we've played against Accrington, they are tighter games, but I think we're much more clinical than we have been in the past. And as Brad said there, I think defensively, we are so much more solid than we have in the past. And as I said earlier, this soft underbelly that Town have had, I think now with Morsey and two massive centre halves who can really deal with a physical presence, as is Bishop, I just see us being able to keep them out. And I don't see why we should make any changes. It's all about partnerships. I mean, the midfield is going to stay the same. I mean, Evans and Morsey have done it at Wigan, and obviously Tuesday night were immense together. But then the main takeaways for me are that the two fullbacks, I think you've got real good partnerships down there at the moment. Penny seems to have a good understanding with Fraser, who isn't normally a wide player. Obviously, he likes to be more central. But I think the fact that Selina's in the 10 and moves about a bit, I think that's made Fraser a better player. I think that's made Fraser feel more comfortable. But I think he's done a really good job in these last 3 games with Coulson and Penny down that side. And then obviously on the other side, I think Doncaster and Burns have been fantastic together. I think they've had a really, really good rapport down there. So I know it's tempting to maybe say Edwards is back in the fold, but we've got so much firepower on the bench that I don't think we need to change it from the start. Why change the winning team when we've got so much firepower to bring on if the game isn't going to plan? And just a little shout out to John. Obviously, his kids are looking forward to welcoming you into their home. When John politely said that me and Ross could stay over on the Friday night and mentioned it to his kids, his kids said that, oh, we're going to meet Ross. No mention of me, but yeah, Ross. So I hope you've got the signed picture out ready for the front door for when you need to give your autograph, mate.
Yeah, I've got the Neil Warnock bum bag and all that with my picture of myself. Before I go over to you, Mark, to end the podcast and get your predictions, your thoughts, I did see Kez with his hand up. So over to you, my friend.
Yeah, mate. No, I was just going to say, because I know that we were talking about not making changes to the starting 11, but I think a little bit of a reshuffle on the bench would be welcomed. I'd quite like to see us having the option of Joey Pigott, who I think could have a role to play on a slog of an away day at Accrington. But also, and I'm not sure if Paul Cook's minds work exactly like ours as well, and I wouldn't be surprised to see some sort of little changes to the starting 11 even. But yeah, no, Joe Pigott I think would be it would be foolish to leave him sort of completely out of the 18 on Saturday.
That's a good shout. I can't believe Joe Pigott's not been able to get into the team, but we've got Macaulay Bond scoring the goals, and the formation we play is one up front. But I think you need a hairy ass striker going to Accrington. You need the hairy ass defenders. Now you need Joe Pigott, the hairy ass striker, to come off the bench if he does come off the bench, and hopefully score us a winner or whatever.
He can't be a hairy ass striker with a middle name of Wasn't. Was it Wozencroft?
Wozencroft, yeah.
That's not a hairy ass striker's middle name. You got a Dave or a Barry, don't you?
Yeah.
I don't think Norwood manscapes either, to be honest. We can't see James Norwood manscaping.
No, I think he does. I think he does nowadays because now, when he was back at Forest Green Rovers days, he probably didn't. But since joining Ipswich Town and living at home, living.
Yeah, they're all hippies out that way, aren't they? So vegans. They're on the M25, probably a lot of them, I reckon.
Yeah.
Right, I'll come in now as I've gate crashed it, haven't I? I think the underrated caveat is that Norwich are playing at Burnley at 3 o'clock as well on Saturday, which is only about 5 miles down the road. So hopefully we get a nice win and former Ipswich Town goal machine Chris Wood can come up trumps for Burnley, and we can remind them of our results, as much as it's a little bit pathetic that we're in League One and they're in the Premier League. But that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. As for the team, I don't think it'll be a changed team. As Kez said, I think rotation on the bench is probably more important than anything to give some different options to come in. I think defensively, like we've been saying, we've been a lot more solid, and I think Ladkey's been very much improved with a consistent defence in front of him, and I think we've got to continue with a consistent team going forward. Accrington, I do like John Coleman. I've had the pleasure of speaking to him in the past. Really nice bloke, and he's very good friends with Paul Cook as well, I believe. So it'll be a nice little trip for them both. Hopefully, there'll be not like a mutual share a point sort of relationship going on there. I think Paul Cook will go there and do the business, and they'll enjoy a nice glass of red after an Ipswich win. Would probably be nice. But no, I think we'll go up there. I'll go for a 3-1 win. As much as Accrington are getting battered, they do seem to find a way to get a goal. And in the words of Mark Detmer, the train has left the station. Fight and win. Come on, you Super Blues.
That's getting clipped up now, by the way. That is getting clipped up.
Oh, he's going to hate me now. I'll get blocked.
No, I'm sure there's many other people who have been tweeting him that he probably has got sick of now, but we won't get into that.
Yeah.
And talking about hairy-ass players, Cameron Burgess' last name is Robert.
His last name?
Middle name.
I think it's Burgess, mate.
Fuck.
Cameron Burgess Robert. Is it double barrel with surname? Burgess Robert.
Is he related to Lauren Robert from Newcastle?
He's French.
I've had a mare.
He's French.
I've had a mare again.
I suddenly understand why John's daughters are so buzzing to meet you, Ross. You can have so much in common. How old are they?
9, I think, yeah. But anywho, Liam, I saw you had your hand up, and we'll end it here. And we're also going to go over to you, Ben, because we want to plug you because it's a massive, weekend for town on Saturday, but it's a massive weekend or on Sunday for Ben of the true Kings of Anglia Fans Social posse. He's doing a bit of running. Well, actually, we'll go to you now as we're talking about it, and we'll finish off with you, Liam. But you're doing a bit of running on Sunday, apparently at a marathon in London. That's happening, apparently. I'll let you talk about that more.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning it, Ross. Starting to feel a little bit nervous ahead of the London Marathon that I'm running in aid of the Teenage Cancer Trust, who obviously do a tremendous job, amazing charity, like thousands of them are out there. But my brother, also a town fan, been going since we were kids. Both running it together, hoping to run as quick a time as we can. I've never run a marathon before. The hardest thing has been giving up booze for the last 6 weeks, not had a drop. It's been very difficult going to town games, not having a good pint at the various establishments around Ipswich. But I appreciate everybody on the podcast, as pretty much everyone sent a donation, which is amazing. Thank you so much. Anyone listening, if you could spare a few pennies for a very well-worthy cause, then the tweet I sent out recently, I'll retweet it. It's just got the link, obviously, the Just Giving link. But amazing support from the Ipswich fan base. We're a brilliant fan base. We all come together, and hopefully we can win on Saturday, and I can just think about that instead of the pain after all those miles. Cheers, Ross.
Sorry that I sound like a dick. I felt like I was sounding like a dick when I go, you're just doing a bit of running on Sunday. But no, it's for a great cause.
No, not at all. It's madness, really. It's a bloody long way. The training has been a lot harder than you kind of think about. It's a very long way to be running. It's stupid, but apparently it's meant to be fun. We'll see.
Definitely. Well, enjoy it, my friend, and best of luck. And we'll be supporting, we'll be shouting you on our TV screens. So best of luck, my friend. And Liam, over to you then. I saw you got your hand up. End it here, and I'll go to everyone else. If you've got any other business, put your hand up, and we'll end with you guys.
I just wanted to quickly say, bit difficult now. You've gone to Ben with his running, but just obviously the 4-1 defeat for Accrington. It's not the first, the 5-1. Sorry, that's not their first hammering in the last few games, is it? Because I think they lost 4-1 against Wigan, and I think someone else handed them quite a heavy beating as well, isn't it, in the last 3?
There was a 3-3 draw against Morecambe.
All right. Well, but the fact of the matter is they're shipping goals. So, and with Town, the way that they're going, I could see them breaking Accrington down quite easily if they're really low on confidence at the moment, because that's a pretty... That's 13 goals, I think, in 3 games they've shipped. That's a lot. So that's why I feel really confident about Town winning at the weekend, because I just think that we'll get the chances to score and put them away.
Hopefully we will do. So, lads, any other business before we wrap up? No?
Can we talk about Sam Morsey anymore? I think I don't know.
He is a beautiful man, a fantastic footballer, and yeah, all hail Sam Morsey. And yeah, hopefully the game against Shrewsbury will get called off, because if we do miss him for that game and we still play it, then I think we'll miss that a lot. No, I think we should end it there. All hail Sam Morsey, 6-0 win, keep the positivity, on to Accrington, a long way to the Wham Stadium, a bit of George Michael for our pre-match music. And who else?
Can we end it on some Bangles-inspired Walk Like an Egyptian dancing in aid of Sam Morsey? So all got to do it. All got to.
Yeah,
there we go. That's how we're ending it.
Come on, Kez. Come on, Kez.
This is what this one going to look like after mile 25, running like this.
Yeah. I think so. There we go, lads. So I'll enjoy that. And actually, a big shout out quickly. I know Kez is going to Sound City, a music festival in Ipswich. If you can't go to Accrington on Friday and Saturday, upcoming talents. If you love your music, go and support it. Some great stuff going on at different venues. Enjoy it. If you can't go to the game. And yeah, that's been another edition of the Kings of Anglia Fans Social. As I said, we are in support of the Never Lost at Home at the Wolsey, and also manscaped.com. Use the code KOA for 20% off and free delivery. We'll be back next week, talk about 2 games, of course, the Accrington game and then the Papa John's Trophy against Gillingham. Steve Evans versus Paul Cook. I can't get enough of Gillingham, and we always play them all the time. But we'll be back next week, and that is it. Goodbye.
Bye.